Hey everybody, Jake again. Today I'm going to be doing yet another Altergeist deck profile. I've been tinkering around with my ratios a little more and getting better at the deck, and so I've made a few big changes to the deck, but you'll see them later. So first off, we've got triple copies of Multi-Faker. I mean, this thing is absolutely insane. This helps get your Altergeist out from your deck and helps you interrupt your opponent with Silk, so this is absolutely a 3 of. I don't know why people keep dropping this thing down to 2. There's a better card in the deck to drop down to 2. You should play 3 Marionetter. This thing is absolutely amazing. It sets your traps up. If your hand's full of monsters, you want to see this thing. You pray to see this thing in your hand because you at least get 1 interruption out of all that. Next up, 3 Mellowseek. Mellowseek's mostly a searcher, but it's also very good at kind of getting rid of problematic cards on the board since it's capable of attacking directly, and when it deals damage, it will target a card on the board and send. It does target, but it still sends. Next up is 2 Silk. Silk is something you don't want to see in your hand ever, because having this thing in your hand sucks. It doesn't really do much on its own. But summoning this thing off a Multi-Faker is amazing, because you can then just bounce a Multi-Faker, which is recycling it back into your hand, and then you bounce a card in your opponent's field. Then the final card is 1 Kinkiri. This thing's super easy to search, so you only need 1. I rarely ever need to use it, but when I do, it's absolutely amazing. This thing can negate an attack, and also it can target and negate a card's effects on the board. Next up, we are running 3 copies of Ash Blossom and Joyous Springs. Really good generic hand trap, stops people from searching. So, yeah. 3 Effect Veiler. This thing's great. It's another hand trap. You can like switch out some of the hand traps for like just more trap cards in general if you really need to, but I preferred playing more hand traps. Like 3 Ghost Bell and Haunted Mansion. Again, this is a pretty nice hand trap to stop people from messing around with their graveyards, and that happens a lot. This is probably one of the biggest changes, well, biggest additions to the deck. I have 2 Pot of Prosperity. I only have it here because I pulled it from packs, so yeah, if you don't have Prosperity, you can play Extravagance if you want. I personally don't because I have a curse with that card. Like, that thing hates me, but you can play that card if you want. It's pretty budget. Then our 1 for 1. This thing would get better if we just get Pukari eventually. But we're not getting that anytime soon because Konami seems to hate the link, the brain stacks, unfortunately. Except like Code Talker. So next up for our traps, we've got 3 Personal Spoofing. Before you consider dropping Marionetter down to 2, sorry, it's a little blurry. Before dropping the Marionetter down to 2, I would suggest you bump down your spoofings, because this thing's a lot more, like, people say, oh, I don't want to brick on Marionetter. Well, this thing's a lot more bricky than Marionetter, so you should cut down on one of these, and I would not blame you for that. I considered doing that myself, but I still play 3. This is another, so you're about to see another big change in the deck as we round off the Altergeist traps. We've got 2 Manifestation. I prefer having 2 Manifestation because having the Manifestation, 2 of them in rotation with Silk is like absolutely insane for the grind games. I've been doing that a lot as of late as I played this deck. And only 1 Protocol. I've played 2 a lot, but honestly, I never find myself needing the second one. But you can switch these 2 around as you please. But you're never really going to max out on one of these because you don't really need to. It's super easy to get them. Next up for generic traps, we've got 3 Infinite Impermanents. This thing's absolutely amazing. And I'm glad that it's a lot more budget now. Like, $20 a copy is something I never thought I would see. So, this is great. Next up, 3 Solemn Strike. Strike's a pretty nice generic hand trap. And then we got 2 Lost Wind and 2 Compulse. kind of you can change these for like I don't know 3 judgment and like an imperial order, or like you could go 3 compulse in an imperial order. I just don't like imperial order. It just it drains my life points, and I hate playing the card. I never use it when I do draw it, and whenever I would want it, I never draw it. So that rounds off the main deck. For the extra deck, nothing too much has changed. We've got 3 Altergeist Hextia. This is like your main boss monster in the extra deck because this thing can negate spells and traps. This thing gains attack. It floats on upon being sent to the graveyard. It's absolutely amazing. I run 2 Prime Banshee. Banshee's actually really good. It's definitely a very underrated card. I use this thing all the time. I use 1 usually. I usually don't go into the second one, but I have a lot of extra deck space, and I'm more likely to use a second Banshee than I am to use something like an Access Code Talker. So, yeah, the Banshee is really good for combos to get like your multi-figure back to your hand. Because there's like a combo you can do with like the one the Zeef showed, I believe, was you had Protocol, Meloseek, and Multi-Figure on the board. I found a variation of that combo I can do, but I'll show that later. So next up we've got 3 Link Haribo. You can honestly cut this down to 2. You never go into it more than once, but you're more likely to go into a second one than actually using most of the extra deck. As well as we got a single Almirage. I used to play 2, but I had to move 1 over to my Cyber Dragon deck that I'm still building. Though it got hard to build since everyone's buying Cyber Dragon cards. So that's unfortunate. 1 Anima. You don't go into Anima often, but when you do and you use it, it's insane. So, I mean, you're more likely to use this than most of the extra deck. So, next up we got 1 Unicorn, 1 Phoenix, and 1 Griffin. I don't ever go into these, to be honest. They're usually just banished off of Prosperity. And then we got some more Link 4s that we don't care about. Topologic Bomber Dragon, this is what replaced the Almirage. I don't really care about most of the extra decks since I banish it. And Borlo Dragon, I mean, it can fight Dragoon, I guess, but eh. And that rounds off the extra deck. And for the side deck, I've actually changed this up a little more. So we got 3 Artifact Lancia. This thing's pretty good still. As like Dragon Link's coming back, Dino's coming back into the metagame. So as people try to banish stuff from their, we got Lancias. So because I keep seeing Dragoon in so many decks, I am playing the Gamma Seal. This does conflict with Multi-Faker, unfortunately. That is one aspect of the Kaijus I don't like, but if it means I can out Dragoon, I'm fine with not having Multi-Faker for a turn. 3 Cosmic Cyclone. You never know when you need to out back row, and I'm considering taking this next card out for something else. I'm not exactly sure what, but 3D Barrier. I was playing this since Virtual World because I could call Synchro and absolutely shut down plays, but I can still use this against like Dragon Link or Dragoonity and call Synchro and take out some negates at least. And then the final card in the side deck, you could move this to the main if you want, but I prefer in the side because I value my life points a little more. 3 Solemn Judgment. Mostly this is for going second when in this game 2 when people sight in their lightning storms and such, because it can be very problematic. And that rounds off the deck profile. I'm going to show you the variation of the combo. So I'm going to go with, you need specifically a Multi-Figure on the board, and I'm going to go with the most awkward Altergeist I can have on the board, Konkiri. So Konkiri doesn't really do anything when it's sent to the graveyard, doesn't do much on the board. So we'll just have Konkiri here. So first thing you need to do is link summon out. Oh wait. Before we can start that, you also need a manifestation set. That's right, not even activated, you have to have it set, so it's pretty easy to get this board to stay. A lot easier than Meloseek, Protocol, and Faker, to be honest. So you link the free Altergeist and the Multi-Faker into your Hextia, and then you activate your manifestation to summon back your Multi-Faker. Multi-Faker will summon out. You can choose a Silk from your deck, but I'm going to be choosing a Meloseek. So then you're going to link your Multi-Faker and your Hextia into your Banshee. And Hexia's effect will activate to add Marionette to our hand since we have a normal summon. Or you could go straight to adding Protocol. I'm just going to add Marionette and normal summon that. This will be just negation material for Hextia. So we'll set our Protocol from the deck. That's infinite impermanence. So we'll set our Protocol from the deck. Link our Meloseek and Banshee into our second copy of Hextia. And then we're going to be chain link 1 Banshee, chain link 2 Meloseek. So we're going to chain block our Banshee because it's more important that we get our Multi-Faker back into our hand. And then you can just use the Meloseek to grab something like you can just use it to grab Konkiri if you really need that, but since I use the Konkiri in the combo, I guess I'll just grab a Marionette. And so, yeah. Though if you use the Silk, you can actually grab the manifestation from the graveyard and summon out the Hextia to get an extra spell trap negate, which is very useful. That's the line I tend to go for, but if you're in a more monster-heavy matchup, it might be more useful to be able to negate attacks. So, yeah, I've been really enjoying remote dueling with Altergeist a lot, actually, so maybe I can try to do something with that, but yeah, that's gonna round off the video for today. Sorry I haven't really been doing much. It's just I prefer using the physical cards rather than the online cards. Like I don't want to just upload a replay. It's just boring. I prefer doing stuff with the real cards. So might try to record a duel at some point, but I can't guarantee that. Until then, I'll see you next time.